to Miss Vicky's bookcase. I hope you're having a really great month and that you are ready to see what I'm doing for my bullet journal this month. Now, I need to add 2 caveats to this video today. First of all, when I started recording, I hadn't realised that I had set my video up slightly too far up. So I'm afraid the first part of the video is actually kind of cut off. I do realise it further on in the video and move it all up. I think it's because I'm not used to the video being so far forward. So I'm afraid you're just going to have to put up with it for the first part. Now the second caveat is that this is slightly longer than normal, only because I did a style that I really love, and that's the medieval style. And this just does take a very long time to do, so it is a little bit longer than the usual 15 minutes, but it's kind of worth it. I really enjoyed doing the medieval style, and it is the style that you're probably going to see a lot more of in the next year, because I've got plans to do the year basically in a very medieval style if I can. Next month might be a little bit easier though, because I'm just going to do lots of decorations, because Christmas and decorations go together, right? So there is another theme to this monthly spread, and that's all to do with the readathon I'm taking part of, which is called Believathon Free. It is a middle grade readathon where the author of this readathon, How to Train Your Gavin, yes, that's right, How to Train Your Gavin, not Dragon, and he has done an amazing job. I think this is the 3rd one that he's doing, and it has a wonderful story behind it where it's a kind of like a mystery where you've got to find out who stole the book, and I can't pronounce the book's name, so I'm not even going to try and pronounce it here. So I decided, because it's like mystery, I was gonna do kind of a mystery type thing. It is reminiscent of Cluedo again. So we had the Cluedo board, I think it was September. So we're going with murder and mystery, kind of like who did it in whichever room. So getting to the picture finally, we are doing the monk in the library, because this is a medieval style library, and it was candlestick in the library, I think it was, and you'll see at the very end when I put the lettering in, because I haven't done everything in one shot this time, because it took me so long to do this that I had to split it up, and the waiting time between all the pages, because of course I did it in watercolours again and it does take ages to dry. So as you can see in the page itself, I have done the background mostly, and the monk is slumped against his lectern, and there's, well, you can't actually see it because I was silly and of course had it out of shot. There is a candlestick right at the bottom, and what I'm currently doing is the decoration around, so we've got kind of like a pillar, and I did enjoy doing this, by the way. I really liked having that kind of theme, and I really enjoyed the medieval. I did keep it very simple. I didn't put in all the bells and whistles the medieval style kind of really needs, because it was taking a very long time. But I have to say, it kind of went a little bit wrong because I got way too impatient, and I don't know about you, but impatience is not a good thing when you're trying to paint watercolours, and this is what happens when you do watercolours and painting, is it smudges, especially when you're trying to do very delicate, very specific work. As you can see, I'm just doing the column here, and it's supposed to be very specific, and it kind of smudged. And then when I tried to blot it, I don't know what happened, but somehow I've got like blue from the blotting. I don't understand. In fact, we haven't even got to the blotting bit yet, so you'll see later on my blotting as I'm just doing the background. I'm so sorry, I just can't believe how much I cut off. That's just embarrassing. And I'm going to pause my talking here for a moment so we can see what's going on. I should have mentioned, by the way, that I decided in the end to leave the 2 columns on each side blank, as in like what you see with what I've done at the very tops. I've actually left it that way because I kind of almost wanted it half finished, almost as if someone was interrupted in the middle. Maybe it's the monk that was painting himself in the library. At least that's what I'm going for. Oh, there you go. Smudged it. Smudged it. I knew there was a smudging coming, and no, it doesn't get any better. And you may be wondering, do I fix the smudge? No, I don't actually. I have come to the philosophy that this is almost my tester, or rather this is where I learn and experiment and see where I can go wrong or what I've done right, because I'm trying to concentrate on the positive, not the negative. And I leave it there because it's fond memories, and I can look at it and smile and go, oh yeah, I messed that up a little bit. And it's great to see it as a reminder that you can mess up and it's not really going to affect it. I mean, it does look messy, and I kind of did the shading a little bit too dark on the decoration of the column, well, the arch rather than the column, I should say, itself, which again is fine because it's an experiment. And before you ask, no, I didn't do a thumbnail while I did a quick painting of it. I just did it straight from memory, which also, you may, if you're going to do painting, you also might want to do your thumbnail. But I enjoy doing it like this. It's seat of the pants painting, that's what I'm calling it. And although having said that, I really could do with checking the colours, and I do have a colour chart, by the way. All my watercolours are swatched, so I do have a colour chart to refer to, but sometimes it's really difficult to see what the colour is when you're looking at the paint block. There is one, I think it's the last colour I use on the very last page. I thought it was red. It wasn't red. But it's fine. Again, it's a happy accident and it does make me smile, which is the main thing. And I really like the fact that I can just look back at this and I can smile and enjoy. And actually, I have to say, I am extremely proud of this first page. It turned out so much better than I was expecting it to. Other than, well, actually, I should say other than, because, oh, there you go. I've suddenly realised, oh, whoops, why isn't it in focus? Yeah. Oh, there you go. There's my candlestick. I decided to do it in gold because it needs to stand out. And of course, medieval style again means that they have this pattern, this diagonal pattern that they really like, and it's a really nice black and white pattern which really makes everything go very well. Gotta love medieval people. They are so creative. If you don't know what medieval style is like and you want to see some examples, I suggest you go to the British Library and go to the digital manuscript area, and they've got all their manuscripts digitized, and you can have a glance through so many. Try the Sherborne Missive, in fact. That's one I found recently, and I really like the decoration from it, and I like to see what they've done and see if I can adapt it to what I'm doing. Now, as you can see, I decided to use pen. Oh, sorry, I should have said, I'm going back to the picture again. I decided to use pen to do the black and white squares because the black, it's just not great. The black is not great to use with this if you're going to paint it. Really, seriously, just don't do it. Don't do it. It's so weird. But I do enjoy it. And also, I did not do the outline before I painted. And I actually, this month, not that you could see because I left out the drawing because this video was long enough already. And it was drawn in blue pencil, which was recommended. But I think that's why I got bits blue. It's very strange. And I decided that I'd go over in pen after I painted, and I kind of regretted that because it felt like I was kind of breaking my nib. So this page I did it with the pen first. Not pen first. I did it with a pen second, and then the next ones I did it with a pen first. I also, by the way, used a little gold gel pen to do decoration, and I was quite sloppy with it on purpose because, again, if you look at several medieval manuscripts, when you look at it far away, it looks great, but when you look at it really close, you can see they're a little bit sloppy, and I deliberately wanted to keep that sloppiness. I like the use of the black pen as well. I think it really makes the whole picture pop. Although I did debate about using a brown instead, just to give it a slightly aged look. But by the time I thought about it, I'd already done most of it in black. And I was like, well, I can always do that for next time. Kind of use a different kind of pen or use brown. But I think the black actually works quite well for that. Oh, there was one other thing I should have mentioned as well. That when I was painting, I had totally forgotten for some reason, kind of behind the monk. And so I was like, how can I fix this? I'll just use my pen and fix it. So it's interesting the way it's fixed, but I'm not too worried about it. And you may be also wondering why I didn't paint the monk's head, and I kind of did with pencil because I thought it was too pale, and I was like, it's too pale, we're just going to have to colour him in a little bit, because quite often, again, medieval faces, they are just the colour of the parchment, and I thought it didn't look quite right with having this really white head. Just looked really funny. And also needed the blood, and again, medieval style blood. You should see some of those pictures when they're stabbing people. Honestly, you've got these massive blood spurting out, and they're going like 6 foot. And I want to say they're exaggerating, but I'm not entirely sure that is the case with this one. So I think we're almost finished with this page. I think I'm just in the last little bits. I'm so frustrated myself, honestly. There you go. I fixed the monk where it looks a bit darker. And also, by the way, I used this neon yellow highlighter gel pen, and it kind of works. I think I just used too bright a colour on it because I just wanted it to pop a little bit, because there's light shining down in there, kind of, ish. I just don't know why I did that in some ways, but it kind of works, which is great. I like the fact that it kind of works. And eventually we'll have the writing atop, but I decided that we needed to paint more. Oh, by the way, white water splashed on my book, and so I was like, I won't paint that again, I'll just leave it again. Happy little accident. So we're now finally on the second page, and you can hear my rambling even more. No, I'm just joking. This page, I decided this was going to be the dagger in the dining room. And because this was a double page spread, I thought it'd be nice to just spread it over. And this one actually was very simple, comparatively speaking, to all the other ones. And as you can see, I've just drawn a very simple table. I've stuck a dagger in the table, and that's really it for the drawing. I could have added a lot more in it. Oh yeah, I think I decided to do all the pen linings all in one go, which is unusual because usually I do one page, then do the next page, then do the next. But I think I was like, no, I'll just do all the black Royale that I can so I don't forget about it. Which means you get to see a preview of the next one, which is Poison in the Kitchen. Oh, and I've just realised one vital mistake, but I'll get to that at the very end. I'll see if you can spot it. You won't be able to spot it yet because it's not drawn in yet. So again, I wanted to use the connection between the kitchen and the library. So I've kind of drawn the same kind of column pattern to one side, and I've got a oven. If you're wondering what that weird block is, it's an oven, and I've got my little fire because I quite like those little fire bits. And to the very left hand side is a little beehive. I really like the medieval beehives. They're so much fun and I really enjoy it. Oh, oh no, the disastrous tiles. I started with the tiles, and I was like, I was originally going to do thatch because I was like, medieval thatch, that would work well. And I was like, how to do thatch easily without making it really wrinkly? And I was like, do you know what? I'm going to just do tiles. And I started tiles, and I was like, gotta make sure they get bigger. No, I don't think I did. It just goes really weird. But again, it really fits with the theme, so I'm not going to worry too much that the tiles are a bit weird. It's fine. Again, the medieval style, it's very much like that, thankfully. Even if it's just, you can see I'm getting to this, I'm like, oh, why? Oh, I've got to twist it around. Yeah, that was interesting. Oh, I should mention, by the way, this is my TBR and red page. I think I kind of overdid it with the giant house room, because how are you going to fit all the books in? I might have overdone that, but I can overwrite it, right? Now, this is my last page, and I decided to do a bed. So it's a 4-poster bed, medieval bed. And yes, it looks like there are 4 pillows. We are going massive with that because it's a king-size bed for a king. I'm not going to tell you what the murder weapon is in that one. You'll see why I'm saying that in a second. We're going back to the tracking page. Sorry, I was trying to think what this page was then. And as you can see, I have put in, once again, my usual 7 squares across, and I thought I was doing pretty well actually with this, because last month, as you can remember, I kind of did them a bit wiggly woggly accidentally, and I thought I did really well with this month until I noticed I still did one woggly. I know, you'd think I'd learn, and I have learned, because generally it's all good, but at least I know. And again, fond memories. See, there's my wiggly one. Oh well, it does what the job is for, and really it's just to track things. So again, it's not supposed to be masterpiece, and this is the thing you need to remember when you're doing your own bullet journal pieces like this, is that you can spend as much or as little on these pages as you like, but in the end it's supposed to be a practical thing you're doing. So this is my tracking page, and really all I need is just numbers so I can cross them out when I've read on the left, and of course listen to an audiobook on the right. I don't need anything else, just that. But what's the fun in that? And it gives me opportunity to flex my skills in a small way, or just look embarrassingly at the lack of. It's all right, I don't mind. And this is why I kind of like spent so much time on the very first page, where I knew that's probably the most impractical one, and I think that was like 2 hours worth of work, maybe even 3. If we're not including the drawing of the picture, probably still about 3-ish hours. Whereas this one was more likely half an hour, 45 minutes, other than waiting for it all to dry. And of course, drawing all the squares in. That probably doesn't count with the drawing. Again, probably add another 45 minutes drawing onto that. So if you want to do slightly more elaborate spreads like this, which I'm definitely classing this as elaborate, comparatively speaking, then you've got to know that it does take a while, and you've got to be prepared and plan for that, because that's the other thing. It's knowing that you're going to spend a long time doing this, and more often than not, for this specific one, I actually started drawing this within the first 3 or 4 days of the new month, as in the month of October, not the month of November. Just because I knew that it was going to take me a long time to draw it, then that I needed to paint it and outline it and do all the extra stuff. I mean, you can cheat. Well, I want to say you can cheat, but it's actually not cheating. Common sense says that if this is just a practical thing and you want something pretty to go with it, you can just stick a load of stickers in. I don't see there's anything wrong with that. And you can be quite artistic with the stickers. So just bear that in mind as well. So you can always buy, or you can print pictures and stick pictures, collage it in. The world is your oyster. I admit I do like to have a more of a artistic thing going on with mine. That's partly why I'm doing this bullet journal. Partly to keep track of all the books I read, because I do read a lot of books, and partly so I can express myself in a quick way, but also it makes me think about what I want to do, work to a theme, which can also help when you're stuck as to what to paint. So have a think about that as well. If you're going to do bullet journaling and tracking pages and all that kind of stuff, is do you want to theme it each month? If so, what's your theme? And you can work within that, and it helps you to kind of exercise your imagination arm and be able to paint. I mean, I'm very proud of all the things I came up with for this month, and I was kind of excited to paint it. In fact, I had to delay it a little bit because we have workmen in at the moment. And be grateful, by the way, you can't actually hear this background sound of this, because it is absolutely noisy as anything. But hey ho. Now, I have moved on already. See, the tracking page did not take long to paint at all, because I kept it very simple. Very much, I think it's the literal Psalter, I think is what I was thinking of with that table. There's a table in the manuscript, so if you look it up, it looks very similar. I just gave it my own little thing. I actually don't remember much of the picture, so thankfully it doesn't look like I've copied it. Well, it's kind of a little bit copied in the table itself, but not in the stuff on the table. And no people. That was the other thing. People are my biggest downfall. I just can't get their faces right. So you'll see no people in this, because I am terrible with people. Yeah, I'm probably going to be practicing people next year so I can actually progress, which again is a great thing for these kind of journals, because you can practice your worst failings with it and you can see the improvement, which is great. So moving back to what I'm actually doing, again, I'm doing watercolour, and I kept a nice kind of ultramarine blue with the roof because I thought it's something that I've seen in other manuscripts of Book of Hours, and they quite like having their tiles a little different colour. It was a choice between red or blue, and I was like, well, the theme kind of has blue throughout it rather than red, so I kept with the blue. And again, I don't know what it is with this decoration, but I smudged it again. Can you see it very well? Sorry, I'm having to squint because I'm looking at a very small thumbnail comparatively speaking, and I think it's already smudged. Again, because I'm too impatient. I just don't learn really with my impatience, apparently. But I did enjoy doing the fire in the oven. I know it sounds really weird to fire in the oven, but I really enjoyed doing that. Oh, and there's my little poison, because we're doing poison in the kitchen. And oh yeah, I decided, by the way, just so you know, that the oven could have tiles just like the roof so it connects together. And I did the nice blue colour, and then I had to draw the dreaded tiles in again. That was hilarious. Well, we haven't even got there yet, so you can't see it. I did decide in the end as well to do the fire in pencil, just because, again, it is a little easier to control, and also because they're watercolour pencils, I can just go over with a wet paintbrush, and it kind of mixed a little bit better, so it looked like it was watercolours a little bit, which is great because it makes it a lot easier. Oh, there we go. I think, am I writing? Yes, finally we're getting some writing. So you probably can't tell either, but I did do fake or faux lettering for this. I probably could learn how to do calligraphy, but I haven't yet. I feel like it's kind of out of the realms of what I'm capable of, especially as the style of lettering I want again. It's a little bit easier to draw, which sounds kind of really weird, but it is a little easier to draw. And it's kind of fun because you can add your own embellishers. Also, I'm very proud, by the way, of my B on the TBR. That was a really, really good one. I'm very proud of myself for that. I'm very proud, in fact. Although I've just realised the T is a little bit small. Oh well, we know what it is. And I kind of really like that style. Oh, also, the other thing I should mention is, because it is quite intensive to draw the lettering like I did with the TBR and the P, I decided that I wouldn't do the rest of the lettering in that style because I would still be here today doing it, because it does take ages. Hence why I'm like, maybe I should learn how to do it properly rather than doing the faux calligraphy way, which of course is to draw it out in pencil and then go over in pen. We'll just stick to what we know at the moment. So I did keep it to very simple writing. So Poison in the Kitchen, you can see, is very simply written. But I did keep with the main titles as drawn faux calligraphy, just because, again, that adds to the overall theme. And again, I'm very proud of, I think this is red. Yeah, this is red. I'm very proud of my R in this as well. Just very proud of everything today. I'm trying to be very positive about my art and what I'm doing, because I realise sometimes I'm a little bit too critical of myself, and I don't want to be that critical because I'm doing well. And if you're practicing as well, I'm sure you're doing really well as well. Ah, here we go. This was what I thought was red. It is not red, as you can tell. It is called Purple Lake. And it looked red. I swear to you, the pan looked red. I thought it was crimson, which goes to prove that you should really double check before you start painting. Anyway, so this is my last one, and it is a massive bed. I do laugh a little bit at myself because somehow we managed to accumulate 4 pillows side by side, and I'm like, I'm fairly sure most people still have one pillow each, but we're going to stick with the 4 pillows because that just makes the bed seem like massive and like more than king size, more emperor size. Now, I should also mention that you can see I've put some extra dark stripes on the bottom of the bedding, and I think I've done it a little bit at the top, and that's just to give it a little bit more pop, because what I tend to do then afterwards is quickly with a dark pen is just go overdraw a little line, and it just gives it that little bit of extra dimension. As I said, this is not supposed to be the world's greatest picture in the world. It's just supposed to be something that is slightly more than the very simple, just one colour, but it's not really that much more up a step, so to speak, than that, really just adding some simple shading. Because again, otherwise we're going to be here for a long time, and this paper does not take a lot of messing around with because it's just a journal, it's not watercolour paper. There we go. As you can see, I've put a question mark in the bedroom. I did decide to do something in the end, but for life of me, when I came to do it, because I actually did draw some thumbnails for this, I just didn't do any colours. And I had asked my husband what I should do in the bedroom, and he suggested something, and I didn't write it down. So I'm afraid I went with just a question mark because I was like, what is it? I can't think of anything. I'll just go with a question mark. Now we're back to the lettering again, and I really like the lettering. The T turned out better than I thought it would. The M, not so much. But it's really nice to practice something different. If you want to do kind of like faux calligraphy, there are so many different fonts you can pick from that you can just draw. A lot of people do it that way because you have to otherwise practice for a very, very long time, which is not a bad thing, saying that, because this is what we're doing at the moment, is just practicing art. But sometimes I'm just like, I just don't have the patience for it. Oh, this was my other experiment. I decided that I wanted to put colour in the middle, and I did it, and then I kind of regretted it, so I only did it to one, and it just didn't look good. And you'll probably see that when we do the flip through. You'll see that, no, that was a mistake to do that. And I kind of wish that I'd painted the N in November on the very front page in a different colour, and then just gone round it in the black. But I was like, do you know what? Let's just not mess around anymore. Let's just keep it to the one colour lettering. And I might try that next month instead. So we will see. As you can see, I'm just adding in the last little bits. Usually, as I said, I tend to do everything all in one go. But because everything was so bitty with the drawing and the painting and then the drying, I decided that you can see how I usually flip between lots of them. So you can see sometimes that I just don't do it like all in one go. Sometimes I just need something different to take my fancy, especially with the lettering again, as it is a bit on the complicated size or long-winded size, depending on how much you're doing and what you're doing with it. Oh, also, I should mention that I decided that I wasn't going to write November because I was thinking I was all lettered out, and I just went for the headphones on one side and the book on the other just to remind me which one's which. And of course, we're both going to know, well, we're all going to know that this is November because you've got the front page where it says November. So this month I just pretty much wasn't worried about that. And again, I just coloured this in pencil just because I was a little bit impatient to get on with things, and this is like the 8th or 9th hour I'd been on this, so yeah, it does take a long time. Oh, and there you go, there's my little lines just to give a little bit of emphasis, and it kind of worked really neatly actually, and I quite enjoyed doing that. It just looked a bit odd otherwise. Here we go, my N for November. And of course my candlestick in the library. At least that's what the lettering is going to say eventually. I was also, by the way, I don't know why it didn't occur to me before, but I was doing it and I kept looking at the bottom of my hands and I was like, I'm smudging things. And then I was like, wait, I'm left-handed. Wait, I've already written all the lettering in pencil. Why didn't I just go from the right to left? Yeah, I did that with November when I suddenly remembered, but didn't even think about the candlestick or anything. Actually, I didn't write the lettering in. That was just me freehanding it by that stage. So really, I probably did need to do it that way. So I believe we are just about ready for the grand reveal. Hooray! It took a long time, let me say that. So here is my title page of November with the candlestick in the library. Then we have the tracking page with the dagger in the dining room. Our brush it off. Our third page is our TBR and red page, which is Poison in the Library. And our last page, which is the Book of the Month page, is question mark in the bedroom. Well, I hope you enjoyed seeing the really long-winded way of creating a bullet journal for the month, and I hope it inspires you to be able to do something for yourself. If you'd like to see more medieval themes and you have some ideas as to what you'd like to see from me, please do comment in the video and I will have a look and see what I can do. I will see you in the next video, hopefully sooner than this one. Bye! Bye!